My name is Jerry Ajololo, and it's an absolute delight and pleasure to be amongst you, great men and women who gather every year to learn, to collaborate, to share in the spirit of advancing business and economic transformation. Today we gather here again on a very unique note, one of digital leadership. Today's leaders need to deal with unprecedented changes and unpredictable and challenging future due to the fourth industrial revolutions. In the wake of disruptions, chaos, ambiguity, and hence our theme, digital leadership for the digital economy, leading digital business and government transition. It promises to be a public-private sector CEO dialogue and learning. Let's begin with a word of welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, 75 years of making the impact that matters in Ghana as the leading professional services organization, 6 of which have been with us, the Ghana CEO Summit, as our knowledge partners. I'm talking about Deloitte. Make welcome the country managing partner, Mr. Daniel Owusu.
As the MC said, Deloitte is 75 years this year, and part of the 6 years of it, we have been working with the CEO Summit to deliver the summit every year. What is our role as knowledge partners? Our role is to ensure that we provide the skills that are needed, we provide the right panel to sit in the teams that are going to do the discussions. We also ensure that we facilitate the discussions, and you see throughout the day the knowledge and the people that we have assembled to help in the discourse that we are going to have. Digital leadership for digital economy. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me talk about some research that we have done as a firm. So globally, we did a research about digital leadership. 80% of employees that we spoke to said that they do not have leaders that can drive the digital agenda. That means that only 20% believe that their leaders are ready to drive the agenda. And that is something that we want to look at as we go along. In another research that we did, out of 1,254, 74% of executives said they have the digital strategy. But out of that 74%, only 15% said they have the capabilities and the knowledge to deliver what is required to be digital leaders. That means that it is clear that there's a significant gap when we are talking about digital leadership, which is why for us, this year's topic is very interesting, and it gives opportunity for us to deal with the issues. So what do we stand to gain? And you would have seen that COVID exposed a lot of leaders and a lot of organizations who were not prepared. Digital is the way to go, and it has become the new normal. It helps us to avoid cost that we can manage. It helps us to gain competitive advantage in the things that we do. It also helps us to mitigate certain risk that our businesses face. It creates efficiency, productivity, and leads to high staff morale, and we have seen that. What are the 4 key pillars to drive digital transformation? And the first one, define ambition for the future. And CEOs, you need to define what you want to achieve. The second one is to design and develop digital leaders. So you need to identify who are the people that are going to drive this and come along with you. You need to also rewire the business. You have to let people understand where the business is going. And you have to engage the people to drive the change that you are looking for. Some of the key success factors. One is executive and supervisory board visibility. We call that tone at the top. You need your board to buy in to the change that you are looking for. We have to focus on digital as a core of what we do. And last but not the least, it has to be measured in terms of quantifiable numbers, and it has to result in our P&L. So we should be able to measure how much is coming through our P&L. But distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me conclude with something about India. And I have some of my friends that are here. India is home to about 1,300 organizations, global organizations as service centers. And when we are talking about service centers, we are talking about where they build a network and people send work for India to do it. And my firm alone, Deloitte, we have over 100,000 of employees that are working as service centers. But that is not why I raised the topic. India earns a portrait, when you are talking about India economy, about 34 billion from service centers alone. Service centers alone, and 34 billion by my check in 2021, that is about 50% of our GDP. Service center, people send work and then they do it. The question is, how did India become so well known? Deloitte have done a research which shows that within the next 2 to 3 years, by the year 2026, India will earn about 60 to 80 billion from service centers alone. And that is also something for us to reflect on. So why India? Is it because of the technology? Is it because of digitization? Is it because of their work ethics? Is it because maybe their culture? Or maybe their integrity? I want us to reflect on this as we get along. What are the lessons that we have for Ghana? We cannot compete with India, but we can sell to ourselves. We want to be the service center hub for at least for Africa, because we cannot compete with India. And if we can earn 10% of that, that is a significant jump in our GDP. So what are we to look at? Digitization, and this is why this topic is crucial. Data protection is very important. We need to work on our work ethics. The government have to find a way to find incentives for this to happen. There has to be things around technology park zone, where the government will give incentives for private and public sector to set up places where service centers can thrive. We see this as a huge opportunity for Ghana as a game changer. What are my 3 call to action for CEOs? We have to change our mindset around learning and leading. What got you where you are will not take you to your next level. And there are a few examples that we can look at. And I'm sure we've cited this many times. We can look at Nokia. New levels of collaboration across various boundaries are required. If we are talking about making big things, then maybe you cannot do it all by yourself. we have to promote digitally enabled innovation to speed up the rate of Ghana's digital transformation at all levels. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, on this note, let me welcome you all to the 6th Ghana CEO Summit. Thank you very much. Thank you.